Hey guys, Brandon Woolum here, and today we are checking in with David and Howard, the Bellamy Brothers. How you doing, guys?
We're doing good,
Man, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good. We're going to dig into this legendary career here in a bit, but let's start by talking about "Normal Ain't Coming Back." Features the Isaacs. It's a track that's on the album that came out last year, but now here in 2025 gets a music video, a little extra push. So let's focus on that one to start with. Tell us a little about the song, and then how the Isaacs became involved in this track.
Well, we've wanted to do something with the Isaacs for a long time, and I mean, there's one of our favorites, and it's just this was just kind of the right thing. He came along, and I wrote this song when we were on tour in Austria. I would think it was Austria or Germany. So yeah, and
3-4 years ago, was it?
well, yeah, at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
we don't remember.
When we write things, we just kind of store them and kind of wait till we get ready to do the whole album.
We're like squirrels.
Yeah,
Store songs instead of nuts.
And so when it came around, it's one of those things. Back during COVID, we did a duet with John Anderson, and it was kind of the song where you could hear his voice on it. When I wrote it, I could hear him singing it. It's kind of the same way with the Isaacs. I said, man, they would sound so good. Get this done. And their schedule's really busy and ours is really busy. And so I got a hold of Ben and so he got all the, the vocals done in place, and then we got, ready for the album. But it took us a while on the video. We've been wanting to do it for a while, but they were on the cruise with us this year and the country music cruise in January. And I said, man, I would love to do that. And Sonia said, let's do it. She said, just, stay in touch with me. And we just swapped numbers and we stayed in touch and finally got it worked out.
So was this song always written with somebody else being on it in mind? It was always meant to be a feature song, or did that all come together later on?
I think in the beginning, I just wrote it, wrote it for the song that it is, I mean, it's I thought it was hooky and timely. And then, like I say, as we went along, I just kind of could hear them singing. We wanted to do something with them for so long. We love the Isaacs.
Those guys are great.
They're so great.
Well, what an interesting family. So talented.
Yeah, I share a hometown with them. I'm here in Hendersonville, so
cool.
I'm going to run into them a lot.
That's where we did the video there.
Yeah, we did the video just in Gallatin over there.
Yeah, so it sounds like when you did the video, that might have been the first time you guys actually got to play it live, or did you get to sing it on the cruise?
No, we didn't sing it on the cruise. We were leaving the cruise as they got on the cruise. We flew out of Mexico because we had other shows to do, and so we just got to see them briefly after our show on the cruise. And so we've actually never been able to do it live except for the video. So I think we're going to try. Don't quote me on this, but I think we're going to try to do it at the Opry maybe later this summer.
Nice. This is a song that, as people listen to it, they're going to hear that it speaks deep, or to the deep uncertainty that we've all felt in these recent years. How has your faith helped you to anchor everything during all this time of global change we've got out there?
Well, we were raised Southern Baptist, and it was pretty strict. It was in those days, and we've seen the whole thing. I'll be 80 next year, and so I've seen a few things, but we've seen the whole, even as far as different denominations, different religions evolve until the whole country's it's trying to change the word, it's trying to do what was written, and it makes you quite a bit very uncomfortable because you always go back to the way you were raised, I think, and it was more by the book when we were raised, and that's the way it should be.
I think everybody's faith is really now, I mean, I think we have hope, but I think everybody's faith is really what's keeping. That's the glue now.
Yeah. Over all these years, you guys have been doing your thing. 20 number ones, many others that have became hits that we all listen to still today. I was looking earlier, still 3 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone right now. What do you think is still making all this music resonate with so many different people, different ages, generations, borders, all of that still to this day in 2025?
Well, it's back to where else do we have to turn? There's nothing that makes you feel as as comfortable if you have a bad illness, if whatever stress, trouble you're going through. It's really the only place to turn. People without faith, they're pretty lost, and the ones that act like they aren't, it's just an act. They're really disturbed within, and
I think as far as our music is concerned too, I think people, it's kind of some of it's like a touchstone. They're familiar with it. We get, I'm always amazed, like just on Spotify, Let Your Love Flows, over 200 million streams, just that one old song along. And, they pulled it out and used it in the Super Bowl this year. And it's just really, I think people feel good about hearing, what they knew in good times.
Especially a song. That song was so positive. It was played everywhere from the disco to the church.
It was.
There was no barriers for it, and which is really hard to have a song like that. It's faith. It's where it's at. It's what makes me personally not worry about things too much. Really don't. If you have a relationship, you really don't worry about it too much. Just go with whatever comes up, because there's very little you can do about it otherwise.
Yeah, we slide away from the music just for a second. The TV show out there, Honky Tonk Ranch, kind of shows us that your guys' ranch is more than just a home. It's a hub for your family, your creative skills, all that together. How does that lifestyle down there shape the way you guys write and record music during this day and age since you've had that ranch?
Well, I think, the ranch has always been the home place. That's a place we always go back to. We've had tours that were grueling enough to where we wondered if we ever going to see it again. But really, it's really the place. It's our little spot. I don't know. And it's not fancy at all. We live in old wooden houses in our old home place. Parts of it are over 100 years old.
We've intentionally kept it, to look like it grew there.
It is very organic. Yeah. And but it's always been some place that's been creative for us. We've written a lot of our music there and we recorded there since the early 80s. And we were running from record companies a lot of the times. We just sort of created a place down there that we could record and do things without interference, And so it's always been really important to our families and everything,
I think the fact that we, had a record label, I don't think we could have done a song like this, taken this song to the record label and said, hey, we want to, after having, big pop record, big hits, I don't think you could have taken this to your label and they would have gotten excited about it. We've had so much freedom since we've had our own label that it's really, we've shown a more depth, I think, in what we really do and believe.
Yeah, and if people haven't got to see the TV show yet, it's a show that's available in multiple spots now. If you want to go check it out, the first season is up on YouTube now, and then some of the other seasons are starting to rerun in certain spots. Is there any word if we'll ever see another season? Will season 5 ever come out?
Yeah, we're actually going to release one of the first episodes from season 5 pretty soon. And season 2 is going to go up on our YouTube, and we're going to release the first episode of season 5. And I believe I forgot which episode it is. The first one is, but I know we have the first 3 or 4 finished, and they'll be ready to go pretty soon.
That's awesome. You talk about the label there. We go back to 1991. You guys, one of the first country artists to ever say, "I'm not doing the normal label thing anymore. We're going to start our own." Looking back, I mean, how did that decision come about? I mean, that had to be super hard back then. It's a little easier for some of the artists that have done it now, but back then, your whole career could have been over. But luckily, we're still talking today.
You know who actually turned us on to a distributor? It was so funny. We ran into Don McLean, from American Pie fame, and we ran into him at a TV show, and we'd been contemplating starting our own label. We were just so sick of everything else with labels, and we ran into him at a TV show, and just, I said something about it. He goes, "Oh, I know a great distributor you got," and
that was the biggest problem with
But, yeah.
distribution, because all the majors wouldn't allow you to, but just like that.
I mean,
it was like it was meant to be.
Yeah, in a matter of minutes, he already had a number for us, and we called. Oh yeah, that's great. We had a record out in a couple months. So yeah, it was really a strange thing that happened there, and it was probably one of the best things we ever did. Since then we had our own publishing company before then, and we had the label before then, and now we got the video company that does the. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty self-contained.
Yeah, that's awesome. This long career, I mean, it's bridged pop, country, gospel, even some international collaborations over the years. How do you guys stay true to yourself when you're navigating so many of those different musical spaces?
Well, it's we've always. I think the hardest part is finding your who you are is kind of in the beginning, and after being raised on a cattle ranch in orange groves in Florida. We moved to Beverly Hills, and right in that time period, that was what on earth is going on here, So, but after you've been doing it 50 years, you find out what's really important are the simple things like your family, and that's the important. You prioritize. You know how to prioritize way better than you ever did.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that are listening to this right now that might be preparing for a summer road trip, wondering how in the heck they're going to survive that family trip. You guys been on this big, 50 plus year family road trip.
I've survived a lot of family trips with this guy.
Yeah. How do you balance being brothers and business partners and not strangling each other every once in a while?
Well, we
can't afford not to have each other.
We're in a hotel in Canada right now, and right now our big deal is just what are we having for DoorDash? That's our big decision right this moment. So it's I don't know. A lot of people seem fascinated with the fact that we still work together, but to me it's like a logical, like a normal thing to do. And our parents taught us to work together on the ranch. If we didn't work together, we were in trouble. So.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of the fact that we're still together at this point. Our parents would be very proud of us. If our mother, she would always shake that finger. And I can just imagine. I can think we would hear from her if we did otherwise. Didn't get along.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I asked the same question here to Mo Bandy, and I feel like you guys are going to give me the exact answer he did. You guys always have this full tour schedule. Right now, you got dates booked 15 months out from now. What keeps you guys still wanting to be out there on the road after all these years?
I think when we're out here, we're like wanting to get home, and when we get home, we're wanting to get out. So it's a
the name of the road down to our house is Restless Lane. So we've always been very adventurous. Even though it's wearing off a bit at this age, but still, there's a few places yet. We've toured 72 countries, I think it is, and there's still a few places I'd like to go and see. We haven't been to Israel. We're just trying.
Yeah, we were just talking about going to Israel. Yeah, used to. I mean, when they would call the record label, our early career would call and say, "Can you go to Germany this weekend and be in Japan next week?" And we'd be. Yeah, of course. It was like we didn't even think about. We were so
we didn't know what logistics meant.
No, we didn't know what jet lag was at that time either. But like Howard said, we're a little bit more choosy now, but we still keep up a big schedule, and we still get a lot of offers from a lot of places. We just were talking about some dates in India and Dubai for next spring. So we're still ambitious, at least in our minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our bodies don't always follow through as well as they used to.
I have a feeling if you guys want to make it over there to Israel, the Isaacs can help make that happen for you too. They spend a lot of time over there.
We've talked to them about it.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah, we would love to do that.
Well, that'd be a fun trip to go.
Yeah, there's only a couple places on Earth we haven't been to, so it's I can't believe we haven't been to Israel, but we'd love to do that.
Yeah. Over all these years, collabs with Dolly and George Jones and so many others. As you look ahead, what's still on that musical bucket list for the Bellamy Brothers?
Oh, you never know. It's just things pop up. We've even done some international collaborations, which was we did a album with a guy in Switzerland that we didn't even know, who actually ended up becoming a really close friend of ours, and he's coming out to our show in June in Switzerland. And we've done things, singers from Brazil. We've done stuff from all over the place. It just kind of things just kind of pop up, and you go.
And we have recorded with Willie, so that makes us legitimate.
Yeah, yeah. We've got a couple of things in the can too that we can't really talk about that might be interesting, but we're hoping to have them on our 50th year album, which is going to be next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. All the hits, the tours, the accolades. When some kid finds this interview on YouTube 50 years from now, what do you want them to know about the Bellamy Brothers legacy?
Well,
can you imagine 50 years from now? We just we have a new drummer, and he's very young. He's only 21 years old, and we're just fascinated at his talent, how he can just walk in and fit right into this group like that. And that young mental energy that, what you get a bit jaded when you're on the road 50 years. It's great to have that around. But back to your question, what would we want him? Well, I guess
don't be a musician.
Yeah.
That would be one lesson.
Doctor or lawyer.
Yeah, maybe something legit. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to give people advice. Just do what makes you happy. And I think happiness. Achieving happiness in this life is a tough thing.
Yeah, well, the guys are out there on the road pretty much from now until at least 2027 for now. So they're going to be near you. Go check out the tour schedule. Also, go stream the new single, Normal Ain't Coming Back, featuring the Isaacs. And also, there's a music video that should be out there by the time you're seeing this. So look that up on YouTube and all your video platforms. Good hanging with you guys today.
Yeah, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, man. Great talking to you.